but you have to relax. You have to relax, and you can't push. And you sure as hell need to know the bias. You can't be selling short on a day like this over and over and over again, and adding more and trying to do a bigger position because you're arm wrestling for clout and failing. Allen, Texas, like I said you would. Why don't you just listen to me? I'm giving you the very things to help you, and you are fighting me. You're fighting me. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. When you are in a trade and you feel high strung, when you feel like you want to turn your live stream off because you know your trade's about to shit the bed and you're going to lose more, number one, you need to stop. Take some time off. 2, you're over leveraging. And 3, you need to reassess what you're doing because you are fighting real institutional order flow and you don't know it. Market profile is not going to teach you that. Point of control is fucking useless. Depth of market, all that bullshit. Heat maps, dumb bullshit. It's useless. It's all gimmick. You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need any of it. I've been trading this entire year, just doing discretionary trades with just the basic of the things that I teach on my YouTube channel. None of that was Enigma. You don't need that. And I think that what I'm showing, they're worthwhile results. And it's not even perfect. Now, you might argue, wait a minute, like you just said on Tuesday it was going to go, barring that. But apart from that, it's just discretionary trading, sticking to just general basic rules, liquidity, inefficiencies, time of day, market structure, simple stuff that may not seem simple to you right now. But if you're in trades and you feel that tendency to want to wig out and you're uncomfortable, you're squirming, you got to get up, you're walking away from the charts, you're pacing around. Let me tell you what I used to do. When I'd be in trades, usually it was the bond market, because when it would move, it would move nice and quick. And every tick was over $30, $31.25. So just a tick is almost what a full mini in E-mini S&P is today with one contract. And this bond market would move around a lot. And if you got 16 ticks, you're making what 10 contracts on a mini move of one contract would deliver, or lose that per contract. So I'd be in the trade, I put the trade on, it's not moving for me. I got 11 ticks. I could bank something here, but I'm like, no, I need it to go 16 ticks. That's what I wanted my trade to be. I took this trade and I am not going to be able to move the stop loss because I was too new. I didn't know what I was doing. So I kept the stop loss exactly where it was because I was thinking, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to get stopped out and not get my $500. What's wrong there? Number one, I'm assuming I'm right, and that's always a bad thing. 2, I'm not appreciating the fact that the stop loss is there to protect me, not a institute of pain and suffering. It's to protect you from excessive pain and suffering. That's what it's paid to do. When you put that stop loss in there and you pay the transaction cost and commissions and fees for that executed order, you paid it to do its job, which is to what? Keep the amount of money and suffering at a minimum. Whatever that order would execute at, that's what you pay it to do. Once you place the order, you don't worry about that. It's doing its job. If you are going to worry about it, then don't use the stop loss and try to time it if it goes down there, because that's the equivalent of what you're doing. So why waste any fucking time doing that? Put the trade in there and then focus on what matters most. Is the trade continuously giving you signs and signatures in price action that it's going where you want it to go? It's not giving you the broken wing tactic. It's running out of steam. It doesn't have energy anymore. You've been in trades where you just know that this damn thing is not going where you want it to go. But what happens? What happens? You don't take anything off. You don't close the trade and say, okay, I'm not going to waste any more emotional and psychological equity on this trade. If you're holding on to something and it's just driving you nuts, your infancy in this or your obsessiveness, which I know a whole lot about, will prevent you from closing the trade and walking away. And knowing, here's the common sense that everybody ignores. The market's going to trade next week. It's going to have a morning session. It's going to have a PM session. It's going to have liquidity runs. It's going to have a run to inefficiencies. It's going to be all kinds of repeating things that you somehow get amnesia about. And you let the trade go into drawdown. You move your stop or take it off. Instead of taking something off when you had profit and easing that pain and growing through that pain like a child in growing pains. When I was a child, I had growing pains with my feet and my ankles and my shins. And I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'10", but you would have thought with the amount of pain I was feeling, I was going to be 6'10". I thought I was being stretched out like some medieval device. But that growing pain of going through this, you compensate for that pain by taking some of the trade off and fund yourself. Take it off. Reduce the measure of risk that you're going to hold on to. And be diligent about making sure that if you start feeling that, don't let it go to your full stop. Don't let it go to your full stop. It's simple. If you open the trade up and you're going to take a mistake of 2 full percent, as soon as you start squirming, take the trade-offs that way. Whatever you have, it can't take more than 1% away from you. And if you've taken something off in partials, it can't even be a full 1% then. So what happens when you're wrong? Yeah, it was a mosquito bite. It's not pleasant. It's going to itch you over the weekend. You're going to think about, oh, it didn't work out for me. Going to keep going back to it, scratching and scratching. And keep doing it, it's going to get infected. It's going to hold you up from doing something new, exciting, and more profitable. But you have to let go of these things and identify these times where you're getting uncomfortable. You're vocalizing your frustrations. You're breathing. It shows that you're physically uncomfortable. You're agitated. You're fidgeting. I fidget with a deck of cards every time I'm trading. You can't hear it, but I have a deck of cards. I'm either doing shuffling, I'm doing one-handed cuts, I'm riffling through them. I'm doing that while I'm waiting for the setup to come. Because in my mind, I'm that sports car in neutral, the gas pedal to the floor. I'm ready to go. Just look at me. Look how many times I can get into something. Boom, 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 shotgun blast. I'm buying everything or selling everything that could have been used for entry. I could do a whole lot more entries, but I don't want to be too much for all of you. I might show something like that later on in September, October. But you don't grow if you hold on to the trade and take nothing off and remove the stop or move the stop larger. When you start trading with real money, you're going to discover something about yourself. This is the thing that hurts most people. It's usually the men. You're going to put the trade on. It's going to offer a little bit of profit. And then you're going to feel that struggling. It ain't moving. It's not moving for you. And you start worrying about what? It's going to go for my stop. You're worrying about it going to your stop instead of saying, is it showing signs that it wants to continuously moving in my favor? But no, you're not doing that. You're focusing on it's moving to my stop. You're telling yourself it's going to your stop. You're thinking it's going to your stop. But you're not doing shit about taking any of the risk off. You've abandoned the idea of studying whether or not it's giving you clues that it's going to keep moving in your direction. You totally forgot about that. Now you're arm wrestling the market like you're somehow going to be able to control it with telekinesis. You staring at the chart, you cussing at the chart, you throwing shit that you're throwing shit all around the room. You think that that's going to have something to do with how the market, like the market's going to say, oh shit, he just threw his glasses. Oh shit, he just threw his Ray-Ban glasses against the wall. Man, I better not go for this guy. Stop. You think that's what's going on? You think that's what's going on? You think that anything you act out and go crazy, that's going to have an influence on what the market's going to do. Now, clearly, right now, we're talking outside the marketplace, and you're laughing. You're probably thinking to yourself, it's true. I've been there. Maybe not throwing your Ray-Bans, but you've done something to that effect. Resisting the obvious. What you should have done is take something off or collapse the trade and just be out of the pain. You don't want to stay in those positions of uncertainty, pain, discomfort, because what you're doing is fortifying the exact reasons why you're going to be scared shitless taking the next trades when they're good. Oh man, the last time I got a girlfriend, she cheated on me, so I'm not getting a girlfriend. What the hell kind of logic is that? That's what you're doing with the market. You had one bad relationship that you held on to, a toxic relationship. The trade doesn't love you. It's okay. There's other ones out there that will. So you have to do what? Kill it. Not murder, but you have to kill the transaction. Just be done with it. And save your mental equity, your emotional equity, that psychological tug of war. You have to know when that's there. And as soon as you feel, and I felt it today in the market, it was not giving me what I wanted to see. And I was communicating in my text, in the annotation, so that it needs to go here. It needs to go right now. And it just started fluttering. So, okay, I got 5 contracts on. Let me take one of them off. Do I feel any less anxiety about whether or not this is going to pan out? Not that I was freaking out, but I'm communicating the way you're going to feel it. When you have real money, whether it be your funded account, trading a demo account, because that's what they all are, or with your own money, you're going to feel this eventually. And the way you manage it, the way you press through it, is you take something off. You reduce the risk, and if there's profits, you bank some of it. And you do it again if it doesn't feel like you've overcome it. And that's what I did. I did it once, twice, 3 times. I said, okay, I'm just going to take it down. We'll take one contract and see if it can run to my target. I don't care at this point. And then being stopped out, $9,187. Wrong. I did the right thing. No regrets. That's why I typed it out. I was communicating exactly how I teach you all. I did not get what I wanted in the final piece, but I anchored with a bullet point so my subconscious remembers I did everything right. No regrets. I got stopped out with no regrets. I do this. I live this. And I teach it so that way you do the same things. You can never get to this level of precision in trade management unless you do the thing I'm teaching you to do. And that's just the bottom line. It's just the way it is, and I don't give a shit who tells you otherwise. I want to see somebody else do what I'm doing. Do that consistently. Explain it. And the logic behind why you're going to fail, why you're going to struggle, how to beat it, how to go through it. Not, well, yeah, don't use a stop loss because you might get stopped out. No, use a stop loss because you're going to get stopped out. And you want to keep the risk limited. And you're going to find out one of these days when you finally do touch an account that has real risk monetarily, you're going to have all kinds of staying power. You're going to have Viagra effect, holding on to a fucking losing trade. You will go all night, all week, all friggin' month holding that losing trade. But your winning trade, you got 2.5 handles. You're freaking out. You can't hold it. You got to go. That's it. Party's over. Date's a dud. Think about that. You are willing. You're willing to go to hell and back for that losing trade. That son of a bitch ain't paid you one dime. It ain't gave you anything. It ain't not even so much as a reach around. And you're not going to let go of that one. That's the one, baby. You're going to win. This is a fight to the death. It's mortal fucking combat on this one trade. It's a losing trade. You know damn well it's not going to come back. You don't have a stop loss on it. You're going to hold on and hold on and hold on. And here's the worst case scenario. Some of you are adding to it because you think, all I got to do is add more, and just a little bit of movement in my favor. I don't need to go all the way back to my original entry because I keep buying more. And martingale your ass out the door. Sound familiar, Allen, Texas? Because that's what you're doing. There's nothing enigmatic about it. There's nothing mysterious about what you're doing. You don't know how to trade. And that's the bottom line. And I don't want my students that are listening to do those same things because it's human nature to do it. You don't want to admit you're wrong. You don't want to throw in a towel. Okay, I was wrong. This transaction's done. I am completely out of my focus today. I can't do this. And just close the charts and walk away. It won't feel like that's the right thing to do. You got to win. You got to win. It's the way it is. The market took first blood. So now you got to get even and take it back with vengeance. It's a B movie now, okay? And you're trying to place yourself as the leading role. That's make-believe. That's fantasy shit. These markets will open your head and literally lay you out. Broke. Both physically and psychologically and mentally, you'll completely be warped. And it's completely avoidable. You have to know when that market is signifying that, hey, I should be running for you right now. And you know it should be. But it's not. And you have profit. And what happens if I get out, ICT? You don't understand. I have been taking loss after loss after loss. And then all of a sudden now I got this one trade where I'm in there just marginally profitable. And yeah, it's okay. It's not moving for me right now. It's been 3 fucking days. It hasn't done anything for me, but I got a small little gain right now. And I know deep down inside that this trade is not going to pan out for me. I know it's not. But what if it does after I get out? I have lived that moment so many times as a 20-year-old. Listen. These are the things I've mentioned many times in the boring discussions that you need to listen to. You're going to encounter that. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. You have to admit you're wrong. And even if you close a trade and then it runs in your favor, you would have. Well, listen, it just cost me $850 at the grocery store this afternoon. All the woulda and the shoulda and the coulda ain't going to pay the $850 grocery bill that I had to pay at the grocery store. It doesn't, you can't do shit with that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda is nothing. That's all. That's worse than paper trading. It's something that you didn't even do anything about. You weren't in there. You can't realize anything from that but regret. And you're doing that instead of saying, I was right to manage my emotions, disconnect myself psychologically from the marketplace,